Good morning, everyone. My name is Laura Schifrin, and I will call the meeting of the Select Board to order September 30th, 2025 at 9:15 a.m. Roll call, please.
Veronica Cal present.
Valerie Goodrich present.
Laura Schifrin present. And there's an anyone remotely. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I would like to thank all of our veterans, as well as all of our members of the service, both here and abroad, all of our emergency response people, all of our elected and appointed officials, as well as all of their families who help serve our community. This meeting is being recorded and uploaded to YouTube. Is there anybody else recording?
Colby.
Chairman's additions or deletions. Under 1.5, we will be moving with the permission of the board. If it's okay. Minutes of September 25th, 2025 shall be moved to October 7th meeting. Is that it?
I'm agreeable with that.
Okay, thank you. Under 1.5, I'd like to bifurcate this motion.
Can I just go back a minute? But they are in the SharePoint, correct? They just got put in late, correct?
9:25.
9:25 is last. Oh,
Is moved to
Thursday.
October
Yeah.
7th. We're okay.
Yeah.
It's not on what we need.
9:02 is still on today.
Yes.
Okay.
What I'd like to do, Val, if it's okay with you, the motion to include February 25th, February 27th, March 1st, April 9th, April 16th for the first motion.
Yeah. I move that we approve the meeting minutes for 2/25/2025, 2/27/2025, 3/01/2025, 4/09/2025, and 4/16/2025.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Veronica Cal, aye.
I abstained. I wasn't on board.
Laura Schifrin, aye. Thank you. So now continuing with the minutes that we have seen in SharePoint, Val, with 429.
I move that we approve the meeting minutes of 4/29/2025, 4/29/2025 executive session, 5/20/2025, 5/22/2025, 5/13/2025,
That's 523.
5/23/2025, 6/03/2025, 6/10/2025, 6/17/2025, 6/18/2025, 6/24/2025, 7/01/2025, 9/02/2025, and 9/18/2025.
Is there a second?
I will second that.
Discussion.
I do have a change for 6/24. This is the meeting where Roselli went over the audit. My changes are in the ARPA funds discussion, and I have them here if you guys want to look at them. And I was going to give that to Sabrina. Other than that, I'm good.
So it's not substance.
It is not substantive.
That was the other one.
That's the only paragraph.
Do you want a second?
Yeah. Second, the
Any
changes.
further discussion?
No, that's the only change I have. So it would be the motion with changes as noted for 6/24.
Yep. So
Okay,
Second.
thank you. Roll call.
Veronica Cal, aye.
Valerie Goodrich, aye.
Laura Schifrin, aye. Thank you very much.
And then there's a motion.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah, Veronica.
thanks.
I move to release the minutes from the 6/29/2025 Select Board Executive Session pursuant to the September 16th, 2025 Open Meeting Law determination of the Office of the Attorney General, and to authorize Town Council to notify the Office of the Attorney General of the release of those minutes.
Wait, did you say 6/29 or? it's
April 29?
April
Did I say?
I thought I heard 6/29.
It's quite possible. I move to release the minutes from the April 29th, 2025 Select Board Executive Session pursuant to the September 16th, 2025 Open Meeting Law determination of the Office of the Attorney General, and to authorize Town Council to notify the Office of the Attorney General of the release of these minutes.
Is there a second? Okay. Any discussion? Hearing none. Roll call.
It's roll call vote, I think.
Roll call vote.
Yeah, Sabrina wanted me to make sure you.
Veronica Cal, aye.
Valerie Goodrich, aye.
Laura Schifrin, aye. Nothing under 2, for appointments and hearings this morning. Number 3, 3.1. Is there a motion?
I move to appoint Cindy King to the Commission of Disability effective 6/30/2020.
No, 9:30.
Sorry, I'm switching my 9s and 6s today. Let me try this again. We'll restart. I move to appoint Cindy King to the Commission of Disability effective 9/30/2025 until 6/30/2028.
Second. I'm gonna say Veronica Cal second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Cindy, thank you.
Thank you.
Roll call vote.
Veronica Cal, aye.
Valerie Goodrich, aye.
Laura Schifrin, aye.
Thank you, Cindy. If I may, we have a lot on the agenda today, and we also have an executive session, and I think we should start that no later than 11:15 to allow us enough time to discuss things, because if we don't finish up the executive session, that could have
An impact.
impact on the next union negotiating meeting. So with that said, we have just under 2 hours to go through as much as we can. I think some of these items, depending on time, might have to get pushed to another meeting. So
Understand.
just to, keep time, the time constraints in mind. And I think something will probably be taking out of session. I think Kesa is here, so we could probably do that first. Adam is also online. Actually, I think Adam has a hard stop at, what did he say? 9:45, so maybe we take Adam first. Wow, we have about 20 minutes with him.
Can I suggest that we move 4.1 to the end and only do it if we have time?
Okay. Thank you.
So Adam's discussion
Is 4.3. Adam, morning.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board.
We are in receipt of your letter. Do you want to just give us a little outline?
I'd be happy to. So I don't think that the letter will come as a surprise, or I don't think that it came as a surprise to any of you. I know I've spoken with at least one of you since it was received, but the nature of the letter, it's to notify the town of an adjustment to the fee structure pursuant to which we have been representing the town since 2018. Each of you know, because I had conversations with you in the late spring, early summer, that there have been some struggles of late over the past 12 to 14 months or so with respect to the effective rate of the services we've provided to the town as town council. And what I mean by effective rate is we offer our municipalities, and we have for the better part of a decade or more, we offer our municipalities options when it comes to representing them. We offer a flat fee structure where we provide all legal services for a guaranteed monthly fixed fee. and we offer a more traditional hourly model. And then, of course, we have hybrid models. And Townsend actually opted back in 2018 when my firm was brought on as town council, opted for a hybrid model. And the way that the hybrid model works in Townsend is all of the general municipal services, which is the bulk of what is provided to the town on a month-to-month basis, have historically been provided and are currently provided for a fixed monthly fee. Additional services that are billed hourly include labor services and litigation services. And that's a fairly popular model with many of our municipalities. The objective of that model is, as we often say during interviews, it's to recognize that some months we eat the bear and some months the bear eats us. Essentially meaning that when we calculate our effective rates, what it costs us to represent the town, what it costs the town to have us represent you, we do so on a monthly basis, and there will be months for certain where that hourly rate, that hourly effective rate is much less than we would typically charge if we were charging an hourly rate year-round. Conversely, there will be other months when the rate will be higher, and the idea is that over the course of a quarter, over the course of 2 quarters, certainly over the course of a year, that all evens out. So the objective is not necessarily to provide the town with an opportunity to get legal services for, incredibly cheap as compared to the competition. It's to provide legal services at a reasonable cost to the town, but also allow the town the flexibility to plan on a month-to-month, quarter-to-quarter basis, so that when we come up toward the end of the fiscal year, typically in the months of March, April, and May, as we're preparing for town meeting, the town doesn't find itself in a situation where it's concerned about its ability to continue to pay legal counsel to perform the services that are quite important at that time of year due to budgetary shortfalls. The challenge in Townsend over the past 12 to 14 months has been there really hasn't been that ebb and flow. And we're not quick to react in these circumstances. We don't pick up the phone and call our municipalities after a single quarter and say, your effective hourly rate is quite bad, we need to increase your fee. That's not how the effective hourly rate is meant to work. It's meant to provide for, again, that ebb and that flow so that over the course of a couple of quarters or 3 quarters or a full fiscal year, there's an averaging out of the cost. So when all is said and done, the town has received legal services for a reasonable fee, and we've been able to collect a reasonable fee that allows us to cover our overhead, to operate the business that we are ultimately operating on an annual basis. The challenge in Townsend has been that hasn't been the case over the past 12 to 14 months. The effective hourly rate, and I've gotten into some detail in the letter that I sent to the board back on September 18th, has consistently been low. In fact, only 5 times over the past 12 months has the rate exceeded $125 an hour. And that number may seem high to you, but by way of comparison, legal services on an hourly basis are typically charged at a rate of between $200 and $225 per hour. That's what our firm charges to our municipalities. We know that our competition is charging higher than that. They're typically in the $225 to $255 range. So an hourly rate of $125 an hour effective rate simply is not sustainable in the long term. And again, we've only surpassed that 5 times in the past 12 months. We've had months at $105 an hour. We've had a couple of months at $75 an hour. So as a consequence of this, what the correspondence we sent to the board informs you of is that at least in the short term, and certainly we're happy to revisit this in the future if the board is so inclined, we're going to shift to an hourly model, and we're not going to increase the fees substantially. We're going to shift to an hourly model. We're going to honor the same fee that we're currently charging for your litigation and your labor services, which is $200 per hour. That is about $15 less than what we're charging some surrounding communities that we bill hourly. And it's about $25 to $50 less than we're charging other communities where we bill hourly. And that would be the hourly rate moving forward. Again, that would be for all general services, for all labor services, for all litigation services. I don't think that necessarily means that the town is going to find itself in a situation where it's up against a budgetary shortfall as it relates to legal counsel services if the town can more carefully monitor its use of services. And what I mean by that is I look back over the past 7-8 years that we've represented Townsend, and with some consistency, the rate has exceeded even the $200 an hour we're charging. In fact, in many instances, it's exceeded the $215 an hour that we're charging some neighboring communities. And that's an effective hourly rate calculated on an annual basis. So in years past, this has not really been a problem. It may be, and I don't, I speculate a bit in the letter, but I don't really know the reason entirely why legal services or the need for legal services has increased so substantially over the past 12, 13, 14 months. But I suspect that it may just be that Townsend requires additional use of town council more so than it maybe has in the past. And that's not unusual for growing municipalities. And we do reevaluate even our fixed fees on a regular schedule in the municipalities that we represent using that model. We do the same thing with our hourly fees. It may just be that Townsend's legal budget hasn't grown at the same pace as other budgets within the town. And as the town continues to grow, it is going to continue to require the use of town council, labor council services more than it did in 2005 or 2015 or even in 2020, just a few years ago. So that's the essence of the letter that we sent a couple of weeks ago. Certainly, I'm happy to answer any questions that board members might have. Again, I haven't covered all the detail of the letter. I tried to be fairly comprehensive in explaining for the board why it is that we're modifying the model that has worked fairly well for a number of years in Townsend.
Questions from the board?
One question I had, well, actually two questions. One is, this means that the fixed fee goes away and everything is billed hourly. And what does it do to office hours? Those are my two questions.
Sure. So we offer the same services as a firm under the hourly model as we do under the fixed fee model or the hybrid model. And so trainings, office hours, attendance at, of course, annual and special town meetings, but also other meetings, whether they be meetings of the Selectboard or the Planning Board or the Zoning Board of Appeals, contract reviews, assistance with open meeting law complaints, and public records requests. None of the services will change. But yes, those services will now be billed on an hourly basis. Now, the question for the town is going to be, and it's not something that needs to be answered now, maybe it's something that will need to be answered over a period of months as you evaluate your use of town council services pursuant to the hourly model. Do you want to continue to request office hours? Do you want to continue to request trainings? Do you want to seek the same sort of assistance that you've been seeking? Attendance at meetings, for example. We have communities that in an effort to sort of limit their legal costs will, for example, ask us to Zoom into meetings as opposed to physically attending meetings, whether they be planning board meetings or board of health meetings. Office hours, again, office hours in most of our communities are conducted with us physically present in town hall, but we do have a few communities that from time to time will opt to conduct those office hours or ask us to conduct them remotely. So we would send a Zoom link around and we'd be able to meet with personnel by Zoom, or we'll limit office hours. So rather than the office hours being conducted on a monthly basis, they'll be conducted on an every other month basis. So that's really a choice for you. We're still able to and willing to provide the same services we have historically provided. And again, we've been able to do this for years within the fixed fee model at really an effective hourly rate that is not much higher in many instances than what we're charging moving forward. It's just a question of what other services are going to be requested by the town beyond what it has historically requested all these years.
I wonder, Adam, if you could just speak to, so I pulled up all this past year's bills just to look through. I know like most of them seemed very much within the realm of probably.
Please mute who's ever not muted.
Of, what I would consider probably previous experience, a lot of, land use, a lot of, special town meetings, et cetera, et cetera. But there was a lot of billing for public records requests. I noticed when I was going through this past year, it was phenomenal, actually. I stopped adding it up in June, I think, just because I ran out of steam. But is that something that's normal for your firm?
So not always. So you are correct. We've of course, I've specifically looked back on past invoices to get a sense as to what maybe the root cause has been for the increase in the use of town council services by the town. I do think that public records requests have contributed significantly. You've also had some other challenges. I mean, of course, you've had multiple regular town meetings and special town meetings, more so than you typically have in a single fiscal year. Those town meetings are not just one night affairs where I show up at town meeting. There's a lot of preparation that's required for each and every special or annual town meeting. And so those have certainly caused the town to incur more costs than it might in a typical year. You've had challenges with things like the trash contract, which has not just been the challenges of dealing with how to go about adopting, let's say, a pay-as-you-throw program or shifting from funding trash within the typical budget to an enterprise, but also dealings with the Board of Health, helping the Board of Health to understand how it operates, renegotiating contracts with the trash hauler. And so that was an extraordinary expense. But to your point about public records requests, and I think maybe to a lesser extent, I would include open meeting law complaints within the same realm. There have been a significant number of both in the past several months, especially public records requests. Now, open meeting law complaints, we have some towns that will regularly seek our assistance, others that will seek it less regularly or less frequently, but we certainly recognize that when it comes to open meeting law complaints, there are nuances of the open meeting law with which members of public bodies often need assistance from town council. Public records requests, that's typically not the case. Public records requests, what is and what is not a public record is specified not just within the statute, but also within the state public records guide. And so in most municipalities, we will be called in on occasion to assist with maybe a unique public records request, something that maybe seeks documentation that is connected with, let's say, a pending lawsuit, or documentation that would include communications with legal counsel, which might be attorney-client privileged. And so in circumstances like that, we would expect to get a call. But in most of our municipalities, the records access officer processes public records requests, even voluminous requests. We have one community where we have received about 2 public records requests every week for the past 9 years from the same 2 individuals. And we do get calls on occasion from the records access officer to assist with the occasional more challenging requests from these individuals. But for the most part, those are processed through the use of administrative staff and without involvement by me or by my firm.
Thank you.
Thank you, Adam. We certainly appreciate your assistance. Most of us, as you know, are new, including our town administrator, so we've had a challenging year. And you're right about the open meeting law complaints and the public record requests. They take away time staff, not to mention the town clerk's office and select board, which is non-productive. We have a recent one that God knows how long it will take because it sounds like a fishing expedition for 10 years worth of records. And this comes at a time where nobody wants the override, yet we don't have the funds to pay the current salary wages. And the union, the Labor Council has been involved quite a bit more, I think, probably this time around than in a previous year. So we appreciate your assistance, and my electrician and plumbers and vendors make a lot more per hour than what we have been paying you. And I really feel bad about that. I don't think it's right, but we don't have a choice. Again, we appreciate you.
And let me say, if I could, Madam Chair, I very much have enjoyed and will hopefully continue to enjoy representing Townsend. Certainly, you have your challenges, every municipality does. I feel very much that I've become, in some respects, a member of the community. I am happy to and would hope to continue to work very closely with the Select Board and with Nelson and other staff to try and monitor the use of legal services. I know that another item on your agenda, I believe today, although I probably won't be around for it because I do have a hard stop, is the use of town council policy, which is maybe something that needs to be revisited a bit. But I'm happy to continue to work with you in coming months, particularly as you review invoices that are now billed on an hourly basis to determine maybe where services can be provided more efficiently. It is certainly not our objective here, as is indicated by the rate, for there to be any kind of a windfall coming our way. We're not even seeking to recoup the losses of the past year. We're simply attempting to stop the bleeding, so to speak, with respect to continued representation of the town. But there'll be a learning curve. But I'm certainly happy and would hope to continue to work with town officials and staff to try and find ways where we can continue to provide quality service. The town can feel that it's getting the services that it needs and is being well represented in a manner that works out financially both for the town and for us as a firm.
Thank you, Adam. Appreciate your time today as well.
Sure. Thank you all.
Have a great day.
You too.
Before we go on, where do we have to? Okay, 4.11. Someone, would you like to come to the table? Okay, I think where we left off was two things had to be changed as well as the map. So you have the floor.
Okay, so I sent in the map that we discussed. Everything else I feel is consistent with what we had before. So are there any questions for me?
I don't, I see the
That was much
please.
clearer with the new map.
Oh, I'm good with relief. I guess the only thing, and this is something that we can discuss closer to annual town meeting, is how to go about doing a transition and requesting a longer period of time. But that we can do at another time. This is just to renew the current lease. So I'm good with this, just substituting in the map that you sent, which is much clearer than the one I had.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I guess you'll get back to us with what you're hearing on how long the lease would be convenient for those grants.
Yes.
Are we doing the motion today?
I think so, right? I make a motion to accept the TESA lease effective. Nelson, what should the date be? The 4th.
10/1.
October 1st.
Okay, October 1st, 2025?
Through
September
September
30th, 2028.
Through September 30th, 2028.
and Veronica Kell second.
Okay. Any discussion? Any further discussion? Hearing none. Roll call vote.
Veronica Kell, aye.
Valerie Goodrich, aye.
Laura Schiffern, aye. Thank you very much.
Thanks,
All
Thank you,
Leah.
Selena.
For the rent, will we be given an invoice or should we just submit?
Well, I mean, the contract is, I suppose the invoice, so to speak.
Okay.
So you can,
So we can just submit?
Yep.
Okay, and is there any issue with submitting the full rent for the next 3 years immediately so we don't forget?
How much is that rent?
dollar a
A
year.
dollar a year.
We do not accept cash, right? Thank you.
So
As the
which way,
treasurer? I
do
don't
we
know.
have
I
to
think
do it? I think because of fiscal year, it needs to be
Yeah, I
done
think so, too.
annually.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
think, yeah.
that would be my response to that.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Yep.
Not an issue, my treasurer just asked, so
Okay.
I wanted to check. Great, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, 4.2, Colby?
Colby's here.
Sure.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you today?
Good. All right, just for the recording, I'm Colby Streeter, Conservation Agent for the Conservation Commission. Yeah, I believe you wanted me to speak about 3 topics. Is that?
I have nothing in the folder here, so
I have
I don't know if
nothing either.
anybody else, so all I
So
see
something
is
about a
dam
dam
removal.
removal, except, et cetera?
And the other
Yeah,
projects that have been
It's
going
the
back
et
and
cetera,
forth.
I wasn't clear on. The
You
dam
have the
removal-
floor.
Yeah. I'll jump into the dam removal application. It has been submitted. The deadline was October 1st. And it's an application for preliminary design services for the dam removal of Adams Dam, which is behind the Farmers Exchange. What else?
So that's a study.
It's a study, yeah, it's not, this application is not for the removal of the dam, it's for the preliminary services, which include the
Analysis?
engineering and analysis that goes along with.
So what
Removal of
happens if we pull the dam out?
Exactly, yeah, and if it's, potentially outweigh, the benefits outweigh any counterproductive measures that would be involved with it, being, temporary siltation in the water. The benefits include, well, a bunch of ecological reasons to do it, and the dams typically warm water behind them. They collect sediment. And the sediment is actually almost up to the top of that dam. You can walk across the dam as it is now. And they're major barriers to obviously fish and other invertebrates. They trap pollution, and that area there, that dam, has several report cards on it for elevated E. coli over the last few years. Beyond the safe standard that they consider to be safe for swimming. What else can I say? The application was actually submitted by Kieran, the grant administrator. I did some of the footwork leading up to that. There are going to be grants available for any of the preliminary services that they think are appropriate, but it's not clear what that grant process is quite yet. It will become more clear if they say that yes, and I say they, meaning it's the DER, which is the Division of Ecological Restoration. If they deem it to be a dam that, is appropriate to remove, they will outline the grants available. So, and that should be a no cost sum to us. So there should be no costs with preliminary services. Having trouble with that word today.
So how does the grant work? Is it that the town is given funds that we then hire a firm to look at it, or is it DER who looks at it?
Maybe. We don't.
Wait.
It's not clear. We've asked what the grants are, how they work, and we just have not received an answer yet. They work on it's kind of a little bit the reverse operation there. So they determine whether or not the dam should be removed or would be beneficial. DER. And then they outline what the grants are that would pay for those services. But they have.
So they are the ones that do the initial look to see what
Yes, and they.
What happens if the dam is pulled out?
Correct, and they have some kind of grant structure, but they haven't explained it.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
What else could I answer? Nelson mentioned Dudley Meadows. We recently had it on the special town meeting as an article that property was transferred from, how was it, the select board, right, to the Conservation Commission. There was also, and this is a little bit related, but not. There was a property there that had an encroachment on the property, and those homeowners have removed their fence and are in the process of moving the chicken coop onto their property. So they were very much on top of it and got right to it. And along that side of it's Peter J. Drive, we have put up placards that denote our property. Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's all I have for you, unless you have any
Any other
questions
questions for Colby?
for me.
There were 3 properties along the river at Adams Dam that, there was a discussion, I think you brought it to
Yeah.
the board, Valerie. So tell me about that.
Yeah, so, on either side of Adams Dam, we have 2 town-owned properties.
I thought there were 3, and there's one closer down to the.
Correct, there's like a peninsula in the river,
Yes.
it's a little bit
I know
south of
exactly
that
where
one.
you mean.
But yes, it abuts that property to the south. And it came up, 2 of those properties on the east side of the river came up through the Townsend Property Commissions, as looking for a town office to own it or take control of it. And we voted on it, the Conservation Commission voted on it in a meeting to suggest that it be placed under the care and custody of the Conservation Commission. And I guess that's
I would
forthcoming.
want further protections.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm not opposed to going to the Conservation Commission, but I want to know what happens once it gets there.
okay,
To me, that's sensitive area, it's right along the river. It would be a lovely park.
it would.
And I want something more definitive is what I would be looking for.
Okay,
As far as what is the Conservation Commission thinking to do with it next?
yeah. Well,
What sort of protections
I
does
guess
it provide,
in-
the town? I would want those properties preserved, but also the ability to use them.
correct.
So,
I think that's, this came up in the discussion that we had when considering them for transfer.
do you know
Yeah,
about what date that was? I should watch that meeting.
I would,
Was it
I haven't
August?
watched every
I'd have
Conservation
to go back
Commission.
for
I think it
an
was in
exact date.
August.
So this
sounds
past
right.
summer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This past summer, okay. I'll look at agendas. All right.
So
Town
part of me,
Properties has just been fully seeded.
No, but it's conservation that discussed it, so I don't know when town properties discussed it, but.
I
Yeah.
don't remember either, but they'll be meeting soon.
and it was a month or 2 prior to that.
Okay, I'll look at,
So in the support that I recommended for the Conservation Commission to transfer these properties, included that, the Conservation Commission can protect them the most out of any town office through.
that has not necessarily been my experience, but.
Well, it
in
should
this
be by
town,
statute, because it would fall out of Mass General Law, Chapter 40, subsection 8A. I want to say A, correct me if I'm wrong, if it's C or A, but I believe it's 8A. And that protects it in perpetuity, meaning that it removes any kind of building rights that can on those properties, and those properties would be tough to build on as it is right now, because they completely fall within riverfront area and flood area, the flood district. But this goes further, because that Mass General Law prohibits the sale to any private landowner or.
Without legislative approval.
It's really tough to have it removed from that statute.
Okay.
Yeah, so I guess the other alternative maybe is for it to go to Parks and Cemetery, but
Mhm.
I don't think they have any kind of laws that really protect
They
it,
do not.
so.
Okay.
And this was the purpose of that law, is to place properties in a state where they cannot be developed. They have to be used for conservation purposes.
For the purpose it transferred. Okay.
Yep,
Okay.
but it doesn't mean that they cannot have uses by the public. They can, still have a park area or, and possibly limited structures as far as like a canopy or something.
Okay.
That's up to the commission from there on. Oh, part of that, the third property, is across the river on the west side. Been exploring it because it looks like it's, actually, in the care of, the select board again. I know that the town, it's been an understanding that it's been under cemetery and parks, the property on the west side. And I can't find anything written on,
Are you
to
talking
say
about
that.
the property that the trail is on?
Nope, that's the east side. So if you look, it would be across the river, on the Worcester Road side.
Okay,
And there's a large property there that runs along the river. And again, that's one that is largely undevelopable. But it's not clear who is,
And how is
I
it
think
currently?
it's just
who's
the
taking care of it.
Current usage?
Current usage is
nobody takes care of it.
no one, I mean, there's a couple trails in there already by people fishing. But again, it's in the flood district, so that's one to consider as well, to be transferred to the Conservation Commission. Yeah, so going farther, I would say there's quite a bit of potential there for conservation area or a park area to be developed right in the center of town,
I
right
agree,
on the rail trail.
with a parking lot right there, and if the rail trail ever does extend beyond, which I'm sure is in the works.
Which they have money for now.
And
They've received money.
right, so it's, I don't know, it's an opportunity.
It is, yeah.
And there are
So-
people from out of town that start using the trail.
Mhm.
I've talked to them because I'm on there frequently, so it could be a bigger drop.
Right,
Downtown.
Yeah, if it could be worked into the plans for the downtown area. So, anyway, that's my 2 cents.
thanks, Colby.
Tourism, thank you for that.
Yes, thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Colby.
Colby.
Okay, if it is your pleasure, 4.4, review, discuss of town council policy. Thoughts?
I think we need to look through this policy and make sure that the form is actually being used by departments. I think, Nelson, you need to keep track of hours and who accesses. In other words, there shouldn't be any use of town council that doesn't go through the town administrator. I think now that's not the case. I don't know.
This form is typically used by most departments, either, this is certainly a more formal way. Sometimes it's a request via email to me instead of the form, but nonetheless, it still goes through me. I will have the form be used a little bit more often versus just a request via email. I will also send out an email to all staff members about the fee structure change. They certainly don't, it's $200 an hour, not that that number matters to staff members, but I think we need to be more judicious about what goes through Adam, because we probably should keep that number in mind. He looks at it for half an hour, that's $100 that's being billed to the town versus, the previous flat fee structure. So I think I will need to sort of reiterate how important it is that we limit the use of town council unless absolutely necessary. Certainly the next few months, just to see how things potentially level out. The way I did the math, Previously, the flat fee was $4,500 a month, and if you apply that to the $200 an hour that Adam just recently mentioned to us, that's 22 and a half hours a month. That's roughly an hour a day that we can use the services for. So, I think
And that's as of tomorrow.
yes. So I think we need to be very judicious about things we end up sending to him.
Okay.
I will, I'll certainly make a first cut at making that determination, and if something warrants more discussion with the select board, I'll certainly bring it up as well. But I think
I have in my files a different use of legal counsel policy than what is bringing up here.
This one's 2018?
Yeah, 2021.
You have?
But I haven't gone through everything. So I looked at what came up here and I thought, oh, is this another instance of where policies the policies that got transferred were not the correct policies? I'm assuming this came out of the website.
Mm-hmm.
And so I wanted to look at that. So what I will do is send you what I have. It's not a signed policy. And so I haven't, in other words, I have the signature policy always gets saved here. It's not something that would be in my working stuff. And I don't have access to my emails from 2020 to 2023 or whenever my term ended. I don't have access to those with Guardian. So when I became a selectman again, I was given a new, same address name, but different. I can't look back at my emails to see what happened.
Okay, so people who are copied now, okay, go ahead.
So I will forward to you guys what I have. I'd like to compare it to what is available here in the SharePoint. Because I read this and I said, I think that was changed. But I have nothing to say it was or was not. Because I honestly don't know what happened with the transition of that website and why it was never checked to see what was accurate and what wasn't. And so I'd like to put this, what I would like to see done is for the staff to understand that they do need to use the form to request legal services before calling town council, and that Nelson keeps track of the funds, because I would like to see it that we don't go over the amount per month that we've budgeted for this.
It would be nice if we could also stack it a little bit so that we have more flexibility at the end of the year.
Yes, it would. Or for when we need it, yeah. I don't know, I haven't gone through and added up. I'm sure certainly it can be to see what we've spent already from what was budgeted. That would be good to do, because we have been using Labor Council, which has always been an additional charge. So I just think we need to have an analysis of what we've spent so far,
And
what we have left, and what is being, what it's spent for, we can see from the invoices. That's not a problem.
But it would be good to have like a graph or an Excel sheet to say.
Yeah, I
On what
started going
issues we're
through and
spending.
it became a little bit too much.
Yeah.
So
Because-
but it would be good to start now, keeping track going forward, looking at what we've already spent, not necessarily what it's been spent for. We can look at the invoices if we're curious about that. And then have some idea of where we are with this. And also to review the policy, I'll send you guys that right now.
The policy that I have, I did note, and I don't, because this is actually something that I'm not sure if it's currently being followed. It says all boards and commissions must have a vote authorizing request before.
Yes.
So if planning, it has to have a vote of the planning board before
Town council can be used. Yes, that is correct.
And in planning, I remember, that the admin would ask, do you want to request town council on this matter? Whether or not it's been a formal motion, I don't remember.
Yeah, so
Okay.
this specifies
So then
A
it's
vote.
gotta be brought up to each
All
of the
the
boards and
board- well,
committees.
and I was thinking too, for the trash contract stuff, that's Board of Health vote.
Mhm. Of the full board.
Yeah. The only other thing, because I did talk to Adam about this after the town meeting, is I think a lot of time too is spent when there's an in-person meeting, because it's the travel.
Yeah,
Oh, yes, for
So like,
sure.
you know, for a lot of those planning meetings and land use meetings, just Zoom,
right.
I think will take a huge bit of that off.
Yeah,
And
at
so
least 2 hours.
that wasn't a thing in 2021 so much. I mean, it was only becoming a thing. And so we might want to adjust the policy to put something
Yeah,
like that
Maybe
in there.
saying unless,
Mhm.
like Zoom unless it's really.
Mhm.
And a question I wanted to ask you about this is what are our thoughts on office hours?
Well, here, depending on what we determine with policy, I like the office hours. Because it was part of the hybrid model, I have tried to use those a lot.
Yeah, I've tried to kind of bank my questions for that half an hour.
That's pretty much what I've done, unless it's something that can't wait
Yeah.
for office hours. But most things can. And so that's, I've used them. But if we are paying separately for office hours, maybe we want to do it by Zoom as opposed to, or is it that important to have that? It's how I've done my thinking over the past many years to say, okay, I need to bring this up at office hours, bring this up.
I'm good with Zoom myself, but it's up to,
Well, I'm wondering if we even have them.
Yeah. Or
Do
if we just, you know, if there's a, you know, it's more of a select board, you know, policy that select board members should consider, you know, scheduling occasional meetings with all the questions for the month or whatever it is. Like how many?
I haven't used that much, so.
No. I mean, I've just used, mostly just that half an hour once a month is enough usually, but Nelson, do you think the departments benefit from those office hours at all, or?
I think, the land use office has, used it on a pretty regular basis, but, you know, he works hand in hand with the planning board.
Yeah.
So you probably don't need that.
all the time. So,
Well, it's the hand in hand piece.
Yeah.
That's the issue.
Yeah.
That is
Has to
what,
stop.
that has to stop. Because that has been a lot of the use of.
Yeah, that was land use was, when I was going through things, land was, and justifiably, but I think we maybe have become to rely too heavily on it. Interesting.
I have to export this to Word.
So maybe we discontinue office hours for
Rest of the year?
Beginning October 1st, which is
Yeah.
when this, I know he's here
Tomorrow.
October 2nd, but those are his September office hours. He requested
Right,
it
it was
because of,
moved. Yeah.
it was moved, so, because of town meeting.
I should ask him. So those were September, which we were still part of the flat fee. So I assume when he is here on Thursday, we're not gonna be charged $200 an hour.
Well, don't assume,
I'm gonna ask him.
ask them.
I would think that those are his September office hours that he was moving to,
Yep.
but ask him.
So I guess use this while you have, if it's true.
But yeah, I think moving forward, I think the office hours, probably we can put a pause on it, because if we're paying for every minute that he is essentially assisting us, you know, we need to be a little bit more judicious about what we use it for. Certainly, if you have a question or concern, bring it up to him. You don't have to wait for office hours anymore.
Well, you have to bring it to you, not if you're a select board member, but others.
This one does say, this policy I have here says the select board has to notify the town administrator, not of the content, but just,
That's a 218.
Mhm.
Well, look at what I've just sent you. Look at the exceptions for the Board of Selectmen. So it's for budget purposes.
Was this version ever voted and signed on?
I don't know. The one that I just sent you?
Yeah.
I thought it was. That was my recollection, but I haven't gone through to,
If you can find it, at the very least, I can upload the new version versus looking at the version from 2018.
yeah,
If the version that you just sent was
It's-
indeed signed. Right.
yeah, I mean, it's from,
Sabrina was here, so she may be able to help.
no, she
No.
wasn't
She wasn't
here.
here?
This was before her
21?
time. No, she wasn't. She started 22, I believe. She started in May of 22, as did Eric Schlegel, if I remember right. Because I had the 3 years I was a select board member, there was a different town administrator every year, pretty much. So it was Jim Kreidler, Ross Perry, and then Eric Schlegel. And then I came back and it's now Nelson. So there has been very little consistency. And so I would have to go through minutes and look, which I haven't. I know I looked at this before and thought this is different from what I remember, but I don't remember. I can't say for certain. I have to go back and do the research.
So
So-
it seems pretty similar. It's just basically saying that
It's more robust.
a little more detailed.
Right. It leaves less to the imagination.
I have a question. If, where, Veronica is selectman now, is she able to go back to her own records?
No, I can't. I had to, what was the question around? There was some public records request. Oh, I know. It had to do with, the,
So is that automatic? Has, Guardian done that for all past selectmen?
I have no idea. I don't think Guardian was in place until I became a selectman. Guardian had just started when I became a selectman during COVID. We did not have Guardian prior to that. We had our own people in-house who did the IT stuff. And so it
Awesome was the last one, I think.
pardon me?
Awesome
Awesome,
was
yeah.
the last one person.
That is correct. So we had our own IT and then Guardian came into play right before I became a selectman, I believe. Right in that time period.
Okay, when would you like to discuss this again?
The next meeting, or next meeting.
That's the 7th.
That might not be a full-blown meeting.
Yeah, oh yeah, I won't be here.
No,
7th.
no, I thought, well, that one is just for, bond council, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or if
No,
something
not
comes
that
up.
meeting. It would be the one later in
21st, is it?
October.
21st is the next one.
Okay, so October 21st.
Yeah.
I guess the question is which policy are we working on?
I'd like to see the
I
one that
think-
she has.
Yeah.
But I think that for the purposes of the next month, I think we should use the form that,
Oh, for sure.
and that there should be a vote by a board before town council is approached. And that Nelson should be keeping statistics that he can bring forward to us, including how much of the budget have we already used for town council? And then what has happened in the 3 weeks prior to that meeting?
Mhm.
Where do we stand? What access has there been? And how much have we spent?
And is that true for the town clerk?
Yeah, the town
That he
clerk,
has to go through you?
Yes.
Or
yes.
Yes, correct.
the clerk goes through you?
The clerk has to get permission from, that's the way it always was.
So anyone, okay.
but it hasn't been used in the past 9 months or whatever.
If you have policies, I guess they should be used. Are we good with that then until October 21st? So 4.5, discuss animal inspector vacant position.
So, I think certainly last budget season, when, we were going through the budget, the animal inspector, stipend was, you know, a topic of discussion. We haven't had one in quite a while, and, you know, I think simply put, the stipend is not enough for someone to take it on. I've spoken to Mary Letourneau, who's currently the animal control officer. She is willing to do it, but she does believe that the current rate of $1,200 is simply not enough. Certainly, the volume of properties that she would need to visit, you know, the gas mileage involved, you know, the hours of work, it doesn't make sense for someone to take that position on at $1,200 for the year. We desperately need the barn book to be updated, and someone to inspect all those properties. And, you know, I think $2,400 would be a very fair number to get someone in that position. Mary has certainly indicated she'd be willing to do it for that amount and nothing less.
We've had this discussion before. In fact, wasn't it moved from 600 to 1,200?
Oh, it was even less than that prior. It was like
300?
200 or
Oh.
300 in 2022, I guess it was.
But even the $1,200 that's being advertised now.
But we did that now. This board did that.
We did up it to 1,200.
Yeah.
We
Okay.
did.
All right.
But even that is not enough. The Pepperell pays significantly more.
What do they pay?
I think it's somewhere around $4,000 or $5,000.
Really?
Yeah, it's quite a bit. $1,200, I don't think you're ever gonna find someone to do it. And like I said, we desperately need the barn book to be updated. It's been many years since it's been updated, so.
I think it was 2022 and it was John King who was our animal inspector. And he didn't re-up.
So, it's something to think about. I think if we decide to increase the stipend, Mary will do it.
Well, I think if we increase the stipend, we have to post it. I think we can't just say we have somebody for this, they want more money, we're gonna give it to them.
No, I think we still need to
Do
go
we
through.
have it posted now?
I believe.
If she has not taken the position since we did the 1,200?
Let me just see if it's been posted. I believe.
I mean,
it's-
we have the
it-
posting here.
Yeah, it is posted, yeah. It's for 1,200.
It's been posted for a long time then.
Can we come back to this after we get our contract settled and know what money we have? Because I know it's only 1,200 more only, but it makes a difference in what we pay our staff. In other words, I want to get our contract settled and know what we have in the budget before we start, and unless we're getting dinged by the state for not having an animal inspector in place.
Okay, so can we move that to the 21st?
Yeah.
And see how
I'm
we are
good with
then?
that.
I should have a little bit more clarity by
Okay.
then on, you know, the state of the various,
Can you remind me again of our hard stop for the executive?
I think, we should stop no later than 11:15 to give us enough time
Yeah,
to
okay.
discuss in executive session. You have a 12 o'clock hard stop?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm,
Let me see. Yeah, I think we should go right to 4.6 and I might suggest jumping around to something else after that. So we can. talk
Okay,
about 4.6.
review, discuss community preservation act website information sheet.
So the assessor's office, has, drafted up some language for folks to sort of, it's basically explaining what the CPA, surcharge is for and how it's calculated. You know, there are folks that, you know, would be exempt from it, whether it's, due to, I think age is part of it, but there's also a criteria that's just basically based on, income. But all that is, detailed in this, informational, document, if you will. So, I think, the board just needs to review it. If there's any revisions or changes, then we can make those changes and then, get it posted onto the website. So, residents, know what this, what the CPA surcharge is.
Any input from the board?
I mean, it looked, based on my information, I learned a thing or two when I was reading through it, so.
I think it's good. I think it needs to get up there so that they can start getting the applications. They've been the assessor's office, start getting applications in and processed.
Okay. I'll have them post it then onto
So
the website.
Do we need a motion for this, or are we good?
I mean, I think we do, right? It's the assessors.
Yeah, I don't think the vote is necessary.
All right,
I'll have them post it.
all right,
Thank you.
thank you.
4.7, discussion about open meeting law requests.
I don't know what that was.
Well, the last one we got in was for 10 years worth of,
For open meeting law, public records.
no, they're calling it an open meeting law, but they want minutes.
But-
And
I missed what this one is about.
Nelson, can you?
The open meeting law does have separate criteria, and I'll wait, excuse me, apologies. But the open meeting law has different criteria than the public records law regarding minutes, but both are required. So whoever made that request, I believe, used the open meeting law
Yeah, they did.
in order to require you to respond. I don't remember what the request said, I think I read it, I think.
Nelson,
I haven't read
can you
it.
speak to it?
It's not
I
on
read
here.
it.
I don't know what we're talking about.
Is it an open meeting law request or a public records request?
It's an open meeting law request.
Because I
For
haven't
records.
received it.
For records.
Minutes fall under both.
Yeah, but I'm just saying I haven't received
I
it.
haven't received it either, so I don't know what we're talking about.
I got it. Harrison?
I can forward it to all of you if you would like right now. I'm pulling it up. Would that be preferred?
I guess it would be good to know what we're talking
Yes.
about, so, yes.
I believe it had something to do with, alcohol being served on town premises, mainly the meeting,
Senior Center,
the senior center meeting hall.
Council on Aging.
Oh, there was a request, it was at least 10 years ago. It was by the Friends of the Library, they wanted to have a
They didn't do
fundraiser.
it.
I remember this, they wanted to have a fundraiser, and to serve alcohol. And, it was denied.
Mhm.
And my understanding was that you could not have, this is just, and why do I know this? I must have been at a meeting because of conservation or.
I remember
It
in
was
the
before
library,
planning
it was
board.
something about it. It was brought up that it was proposed and then it was too difficult and it went away.
Well, the request is for all meeting records regarding that from 2014 to 2024.
How is this an open
I have
meeting
no
law
idea.
instead of a public record?
Well, they are, using a different MGL to get
Yeah.
the records. It's,
I'm gonna have Harrison speak to it.
It seems to me that you just pull the records from that time. That's not ours.
This is not, the one I have is just,
So there were two requests that came in, if I may. There's a provision in the open meeting law that allows for requests for meeting agendas, minutes, and the documents referenced in the open session to be requested for. So that very narrow MGL is focused on just open meeting related records. So I'm happy to answer any questions related to that. We're waiting for input from the Attorney General's office about what other rules and regulations apply.
I did ask him because it's very time consuming, because you're talking about a time before hybrid meetings, so before COVID.
Okay, so the one that we're referencing here, if I can so say, this was from Mary Jane, and it's,
That's curious.
this is not a request under the public records law and therefore is not subject to public records exemptions, fees, or procedures. This is a request for any and all minutes of the Board of Selectmen related to the serving of alcoholic beverages and the town meeting hall at the Lanier Senior Center from date of opening until September 2022. Because this is a request made under the open meeting law, the board is required to provide minutes within 10 days of this request.
Which is an expense to the Board of Selectmen. And
So
it
this is-
prevents our staff from doing something productive versus looking for a fishing expedition when we don't have the money. We don't have the funds. We keep getting things that distract us from doing actual work and dealing with productive issues for the community. So I have no idea why we're getting this now when we're just catching up with everything else to distract us from doing what we need to do.
And none of us were on any board
No.
at that time. I know from July of 2020 to September of 2022, there were no requests by the Library Senior Center for anything having to do with alcohol. Prior to that, I remember being in a meeting where this was discussed for the library.
I believe there was a fundraiser.
And it was voted down.
And it was decided not to.
I remember Sulicio was on the board at that time.
Yeah, you're
So I think
right.
it was right after me, or either while I was on, or right after.
I think it was before you were on, Cindy.
Or term before.
I think it was before.
She
I
was on
think it was
before and
Colin McNabb, Sue Licio, and it might have been Carolyn Smart.
And so this would have been an event of the friends, not even of the employees.
It wasn't the employees,
No,
yes.
it'd be
It
an
was the
event.
Friends of the Library wanted to have a fundraiser.
And this happens, for the record, it's never happened at our library, but it happens annually at Pepperell, Groton. There's usually some sort of fundraiser event, wine tasting thing. So this is not an unusual
You know, the
request.
person
Not
who
happened
might
here.
be able
No,
to
it has
answer
not
this
happened
is
here.
Carolyn Sellers, come to think of it. I mean, she was on the endowment for the library.
Karen Clement.
Clement. I think it was before Karen Clement even was involved with the library so much.
Carolyn Sellers is not in Townsend anymore.
No, she is not.
No.
But she was the endowment.
So
And
that,
maybe
and
the
this would be
Friends.
even more than 10 years because the Library Senior Center is 15 years old.
It was in the 2013-2014 time period would be my
Would there
guess.
be a file on it?
There-
Alcohol licensing request.
How
Why
is
don't they
this an
look at
open meeting law
I think-
request? Only that Mary Jane doesn't want to pay for public records.
No.
I mean, I'm just,
So
how
that
is
was
it an
part of
open
the
meeting
email.
law request?
Anyway, that's what that is,
We're
and
looking into it. I don't have
Yeah.
a clear answer.
I thought that Sabrina came up with 3 minutes and asked for an extension, because that was from way back when.
Oh, so she did find the minutes.
She found something, but it wasn't through 2024, which there probably is nothing, but you still have to pay for staff time to do that.
I believe Sabrina did request an extension.
She did. She requested an extension. It's absurd, in my opinion. Okay, so that's where we are on that. Thank you, Harrison.
There were 2 here.
Yeah.
So I just looked at the second one that he sent, or is it the first one that he sent? I don't know. I looked at the one about,
I'm happy to address any questions that you have. The two, one of them was just for one set of minutes that you had on your agenda today. One was the larger one that I believe was the bigger part of the discussion. So those were the two that came in for open meeting law request. Right. To answer kind of the question that Veronica posed, how is it open meeting law as opposed to a public records request? I think it really just is because of the narrow scope of the open meeting law. It has to do with minutes, and so that's the distinction.
well, here's the thing. If it's open meeting law, I thought that if you saw a violation, you had like 30 days.
Yeah, you have 30
from
days.
when the meeting was to flag it, that you couldn't flag it 10 years later.
Well, that's and it's not a violation that's before you. There's a certain provision under the open meeting law that allows requests for these meeting documents to be made. So it's not a violation and it's not alleging a violation. It's just a request for information.
So in your opinion, can you expect that then we're going to be getting requests for information under the open meeting law going forward in order to circumvent the costs that could happen under the public records request?
I mean, perhaps, but the thing is, you could deny those if they start to if there's scope creep, so to speak. So if someone asks for something that wasn't discussed in a meeting, then it's not subject to the open meeting law's request procedure.
I think this is a fine line here, Harrison, that we're walking.
Harrison, Sabrina made a request. Was her request granted?
We haven't heard regarding any extension regarding that. And I've also, like I said, I put a call into the Attorney General, so we'll see what feedback we get regarding that. I'm sure we're not the only town that's gotten these. So we'll see what the Attorney General's office has for guidance and feedback regarding this.
I know that she originally requested a scope, to narrow the scope, to be more specific so that the information could be found. And that was denied. Is that correct?
Yeah, there was a request and that was sent in, and the scope was there was no narrowing. I think part of it, part of the reason was, as demonstrated by the board's discussion, we don't know no one knows exactly when this discussion happened. It seems that we know that there was a discussion at some point. So I think that's why the scope just wasn't able to be narrowed.
I would like to say too that there's nothing that prevents someone from going through all the minutes themselves to find the information that they would like. There's nothing that
Public
prevents.
records.
And in this circumstance, are we required to go through it ourselves or just simply allow them to go through it themselves?
Which they're allowed to do anyway.
So I would seek clarification on that.
Are you seeking clarification on that, Harrison?
Yeah, my clarification question is, are we required to go through them ourselves in search of that piece of information, or simply supply them to the individual for them to go through to find that information?
I don't think that the town is required to know, and it's just like under the public records law, the town isn't required to do research. The way the request was phrased is maybe so that if these documents were digital and you could search, it would be easier. But if they aren't digital, I don't see why just simply providing access to those records so this individual could look through them would be disallowed. I don't think that the town has to take on that burden.
Well, we can't afford to, actually.
I would recommend that we provide access to the meeting minutes from the opening of the Library Senior Center in, was it 2012, to whomever is requesting them, and they can go through the meeting minutes of the select board and see what
they want. I mean, I think that that's available to them. However, now, I mean, I don't think it's.
So is that our recommendation?
That would be my recommendation, barring a notice that we were required to look through them ourselves.
Right.
To find that information.
Okay, do you want to make that a motion?
I move that we provide access to the meeting minutes as requested in the open meeting law. I don't even know how to phrase this. I would move that we provide access to the meeting minutes as stated or requested
On that date,
from
By
the
that
opening of the
individual.
Library Senior Center until September 2022
Sure.
for research into a discussion.
is there a second?
Veronica Cal second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none. Roll call vote.
Veronica Cal, aye.
Larry Goodrich, aye.
And Laura Schiffer and I. Thank you for the discussion.
I'll move 4.8 to next time.
Thank you. 4.9. Oh, that's me. Okay, I have a little apology. We didn't get posted in time last week, and we then moved it to today at 5, which I inadvertently forgot that I already had a commitment. And so I asked Harrison, I asked TCAM if we could have Friday the 6th, which we will be on Zoom now from now on during those meetings so that everybody can see what's going on.
You talking about this Friday?
This Friday,
It's actually the 3rd.
but
You said the
at 6.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, but you said, did you say?
No, at 6.
Okay, sorry.
But on another note, one of the things that we have talked about before and are going through during this process is getting the word out. Getting the word out to the public. So we are going to start with TCAM, and I've mentioned this before, snippets with 10 to 20 minutes, depending on departments, with department heads, and filming them giving descriptions of what their departments do. And it'll be on a playlist for Townsend. And I was in talking to the town clerk the other day, saying that we were going to do that, and would they participate? I've talked to a number of department heads myself personally, inviting them to do that. Not all of them are excited, but they've done it in other towns, and we'll do it again for Townsend. So that will start next Tuesday, and we'll start filming here in the chambers. I'll report at the next meeting on this, if not the 7th, on the 21st, regarding our forums committee. Okay. That's my update. This is moved. Discuss results of the special town meeting. Nelson, could you do that, please?
Sure. So the big ticket items that were passed were the MBTA Communities Act, which I just want to applaud everyone from the planning board, MRPC.
Yeah.
Certainly.
Did a great job.
Yep. It was many years of hard
And
work.
Cindy, for your support.
I thought it would be more controversial than it was, because you hear stories from neighboring communities where the voters voted down, then they are threatened to be sued by the state. Some cities and towns have actually sued the state. So, a lot of bad publicity that you see on the newspapers.
Sued and lost.
So, I was certainly worried that we were
We
potentially
don't have
heading.
money to sue them, so.
Well, we were certainly heading down, a path of that sort, but I was, really happy to see that the voters did vote that in the affirmative. So, and we have every indication that the AG's office will accept the warrant article language, because it was already vetted by them prior, and with Adam's assistance as well. So I'm really happy that all went through.
The tabling of the warrant article that town council prepared
For
for the Historic District Commission.
yes, it was unfortunate that the voters didn't really get to even vote on the article itself. It
I'll
was
hear
just,
why.
it was just, tabling it, and then I think the second vote was to bring
It back, but
bring
you
it back,
then you needed,
which that didn't pass either. So again, I'm kind of disappointed that the voters didn't get a chance to vote on the actual article itself.
that will have to come back.
I just want to ask, because there was no discussion really on
Right.
this.
Right.
My understanding was that article provided enforcement for Historic District Commission decisions.
Yes, it did.
Does that mean that pretty much doesn't matter there is no enforcement for Historic District Commission decisions? So if the Historic District Commission makes a decision now and it isn't followed, there's no way to enforce it? So
No.
pretty much anything goes, is that right?
I spoke to Adam about this and he said, this is presented with the Historic Commission having the authority along with the building inspector.
Right.
Okay, now there isn't any.
So there is no enforcement for Historic District
I'm
Commission
not sure what they're gonna
decisions.
do. They asked to further, I think the reason was they asked to further
Fee structure.
discuss it or look into it, but
Fee structure?
Mary Jane.
Well, fee structure-
Nobody had spoken to the Historic District Commission about this article.
This came in, I think, from
she was
town
in a
council.
public hearing.
That's not the same as talking to her about an article on the town meeting warrant. They had not, no one who,
It was stated in the zoning board meeting
but that's not the.
and
Historic
they were
District Commission.
there.
Nobody, that there was nothing about, let's present, here's the article, what do you think? Nobody discussed the article going on a town meeting warrant with the HDC. So they didn't know what it was about.
Well, I guess we're gonna discuss it then.
They need the discussion.
Yeah.
And maybe town council explaining what the legal definition of that.
But to my point, there is currently no enforcement for HDC decisions.
HDC has authority on their own.
Do they?
In order to get a building permit in the historic district, you must have a certificate of appropriateness.
But
Mhm.
if you choose not to,
But they don't give the permits.
But the building department still can't give a permit without it. That's already in the law. That's not an enforcement issue. He has enforcement on building. If I'm
okay,
in the historic
okay,
district, if
I don't
start
want to
building
make this a
You know
long thing. We have
Town-
other things
town
to do,
council-
but
Town council recommended.
Said, he
Yeah.
Yes, he
recommended
did.
this language.
It
Yes.
doesn't mean that it's a free-for-all for the historic district.
No.
People living it, it's not a free-for-all for everybody.
it kind of sounded like it. But anyway, okay.
Hopefully it gets
It is,
resolved
I'm gonna
and
start
they
building.
understand it.
I'm gonna start building at my house.
Because it was stated many times, we didn't get to state anything at town meeting. The town didn't get to speak about it. It had been explained, which was explained at the zoning board hearing, that this is typical language in all cities and towns, because there's nobody at the state that's gonna come in and issue permits for the
It
historic
was never
districts
discussed at your
anywhere.
meeting, you're on the HDC, so it was never discussed at your meeting.
I can't say it was never discussed.
It wasn't.
I
Well,
can't say
anyway,
that,
okay,
but,
let's
all
go
right.
on.
Yes.
That was just
That will come back.
an aside, yes.
And that would be about it, right? And only one thing failed. What, the citizen
The
petition?
citizen petition didn't pass. I forgot, I don't have my notes with me. The one about adopting the Mass General Law for us to, mail out.
Oh, that failed as well.
That failed as well.
Yeah, because we don't have the money.
I think it-
Not that it wasn't a good thing, but we don't have the
And I
money.
do think something that may have been missing is I think all of us would like it. We just don't have the funding right now.
Yeah,
And specifically, people who were saying we need to communicate more, we are limited in what we can say because of, and this would have allowed for a yes and no statement, whereas the town cannot make a yes and no statement. We can just give information.
okay, so I just want to quickly say, because we have 1 minute, is the board okay with the rest
We have a few
Being-
minutes, right?
No, we don't.
11:15,
11:15.
Oh, I'm sorry.
half an hour ahead.
Okay, okay. I apologize.
It's okay. We're jumping all around today.
4.12, highways, request to increase plow contractor rates for upcoming winter. Why do I think we had this discussion?
We started it
We
last.
started
we
it
did.
last
Oh.
meeting.
So, the highway superintendent, it's in the SharePoint, updated the memo with what they thought the increase would be, if the plow rates were increased as well.
He included, it's basically based on previous years, it had 10,000 to the snow and ice budget.
Comments from the board?
Well, I appreciate the update. But I will again say, I can't support increasing rates when we are, I understand plowing roads is public safety, but we have patrolmen not, they're operating without a contract right now. And we've asked for decreases in salaries from the fire department as well, and I just can't do it. I guess we hire at the rate that we've hired at. And if we don't get contractors to do it, then the roads get plowed when the roads get plowed. And it's important, and I've always voted for it in the past, but I cannot support it at this point.
Yeah.
So I actually stopped in at the highway department, and Jimmy wasn't there, but I talked to Danielle about just because they're, what other towns are charging, if they think that we're actually going to get the contracts if we don't move, and they do not, from my understanding. My concern is that our frustration with the process that happened for last year and the possibility of it happening in the future, the current situation is we will not be able to plow our roads as we have in the past, and possibly unless we offer this. And I understand that our employees are suffering right now from not having enough funds. I'm not denying that at all. But this is because it's contracted, it's market rate. And just like Adam had to increase his fees, I consider this to be a pretty similar thing where technically it's really hard to not, if we had a fully staffed highway department, which we don't right now either, we're down 2 people, we wouldn't need to have those contractors, but we don't. So we rely on them.
No, we've always needed the
Yeah,
contract.
exactly.
Not
But
as
it's like,
much, not as
yeah,
much.
Pepperell doesn't have contractors. That's my point. Like Pepperell, other towns don't land contractors. They have them part of their staff. And maybe that's something we look to if we're combining
I
possibly
would
parks and
rather,
cemeteries and stuff, and then we can get cross-training and all that stuff. Yeah, but that's long-term. And I worry that because of what happened last year, that we don't know what will happen next year with free cash, right? I would hope that what happened this year didn't happen, that we're making the decision based on that instead of, and I know I'm not
Pepperell
speaking
has,
for anybody else.
Pepperell has more money. Pepperell
yeah.
has more employees.
But so Ashby pays
Pepperell's
more.
bigger.
Ashby pays more. Westminster pays more. Lunenburg pays more. All of our surrounding towns pay
Ashby
more.
has more.
But no, but
They
they're
anything.
paying more per hour than even with our increase we would. So it comes a point where
if you want the service, you have to pay for it. We have a town who twice within 4 months voted for no override. If you don't have the money, you can't have the service. And we don't have the money right now. And that's the way it works. I would prefer to hire both open positions in the highway department so that we would have more staff on hand for plowing than to increase the rates for outside plow guys. That's just me. And people need to understand that they might need, the roads will get plowed or it'll melt, but they have to stay home a little bit longer on a snow day than maybe they would otherwise.
The concern I have here, and again, I'm just speaking for myself, is that if we look at free cash, we won't have the number until, is there any indication that our free cash is going to be significantly less than previous years, even though we're starting lower? We have estimates.
I think last year's free cash was around low 600s, like 625. I think, I still don't have the numbers yet from the town accountant, but I think that might be a stretch.
Because we have the properties that we sold, correct?
We do.
And combined with the end of last year, closing out FY25.
Yeah.
Together, possibly around 6. I mean, I'm not crystal balling. I'm just.
Yeah, I just think, free cash alone, I'm not 100% sure because the town accountant is still finalizing the numbers.
And last year's snow and ice number?
I think we gave 290 from free cash to snow and ice.
And then we also took funds from the money that the finance committee has. I think we took 20,000 out of there. Because we didn't have, it was for snow and ice because we didn't have enough in the free cash account, and we had to go to the FinCom
and
to
that's
get
because
additional funds from them.
That's because the 200 that was taken out for the school.
Well, that contributed to it,
yeah.
But I just can't pay over 5% more for, then it's not that we're not paying contractors, we are.
Oh yeah, I'm not denying that.
And I just can't increase it by 5.5% when we have asked everybody to take a decrease. I just can't do it. That's my own thing. I can't do it. It's not like we're saying, don't hire contractors. I just cannot increase that by over 5%. When we aren't even giving our police an increase at all in this fiscal year at this point because we are out.
I respect that. I see it as a little bit of two different things because we rely on something that we can't control the price of. Just like legal counsel, we can't control what they charge in some regards.
But we can say, let's keep track of it.
Of course,
let's hold it back.
Absolutely.
and so.
Yep, absolutely.
Same
Which
deal.
we're doing.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I agree.
And
So-
I agree with, I'd rather see another employee.
Yeah, but that's
than
not
spending
happening
that.
for that. That's a long-term plan, right? We're not hiring someone to plow another.
If we were
plow.
gonna spend the money for contractors, that will cost us more than an employee would for 2 years.
Well, but then that's also additional equipment because these people
They have equipment.
We have the highway department, we have 2 plow sanders from 2 years ago, and this year a new plow. So we have the equipment, we just don't have, when we have a large plow, we just have to be a little more patient in town with the roads.
Because my other concern about that is that we have a really large senior population, and that's when the calls go up because those people can't. They're people who would be able to get themselves to a doctor in those situations. It's harder for them
So
because they're less likely to be able to clear their driveways and less likely to be able to drive in those conditions.
they can clear their driveways. It's the roads that we're talking about.
But some of them, it's hard to get out, and that's and calls go up. During snow, that calls go up because people can't get themselves to those doctor's appointments. So that's just my thoughts.
Okay.
I appreciate it. I can't move forward on it.
We probably need to take a vote though, right?
I think that there's an October
Is there a
deadline
motion?
that happens before.
I move to accept the highway's request to increase plow contractor rates for the upcoming winter.
I think I'll second.
Discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Veronica Kell, no.
Valerie Gooder, yes.
Laura Schiffer, no. 413, creation of financial policy review committee. Nelson, where are we?
September really busy, so I haven't had time to get that committee together. I certainly, I think I actually have a meeting with at least one member of finance committee tomorrow. I think Val, you were invited as well. They wanted to, I couldn't tell if they wanted to change the process or some forms. I couldn't really get a clarification from them, but I think with tomorrow's meeting, I'll kind of figure out what their concerns might be for the upcoming budget season. I certainly still need to meet internally with the assessor, the treasurer, as well as the town accountant on, just start having meetings of, how the budget's gonna look like for next year. Just get their input on, local receipts, debt service, assessing things like that. That all is part of the background planning, for.
What about the software and the agreement that we don't have finance with one laptop and?
Well, so the
different
budgeting
program here.
software, I think I mentioned this earlier this summer. I got a presentation from ClearGov. They provided us with a quote. It's certainly not a small amount of money, so if we were to consider it, it would have to be at some sort of town meeting, and only after we've had certified free cash to put the money towards it, and maybe put it into the budget year after year, because it is not just a one-time expense, it's an ongoing expense. So that's something to consider as well. There is a upfront cost for ClearGov to, update.
I thought we were in agreement that we should all be on the same page.
I think that's the purpose of, it seemed like FinCom wanted to change something that they bring to the departments when I was looking through their agenda. And I recommended that they meet with Nelson, and I volunteered to meet because we have a process.
We do have a process.
And I just want to make sure we're all following that process. And if they want to do something different, we can propose to do something different. We just need to all, and I think part of the problem is I think with all the turnover, I don't think the process has been followed every year. I understand that. But at the very least, we have to start with the process that we have online. It's a budget policy, and go from there.
And I agree with that. Going back to the budgeting software, does Vadar have a budgeting piece in it? Something that we already have? Is it available to us already? And it's just, a bit that needs to be turned on for us to have access to that. I don't know. I really don't know, but I am not wedded to ClearGov. It's just that was what we had looked at way back when. I think it's important that we have budgeting software, that it is not just a volunteer putting together something on Excel. I think that's not the way to go. I think we need something that all the departments use, that everybody can look at, and that projects out for X number of years. And if Vadar provides that, then let's look at that. There could be other suggestions from the finance team. The town's finance team, our paid staff. They may have suggestions. So
I will talk to them, and I'll ask about the budget, if there's some sort of budget module within Vadar that we can make use of. I will say ClearGov they are the leader in municipal budgeting software. Pepperell uses it. I don't think Ashby does, but you know, a lot of communities use
They do.
ClearGov, and they are the industry standard, and, you know, it works. And it's very helpful, and everything I've heard is, it's worth the money.
And I think that having some budgeting software would allow the process to roll more smoothly, the process that we do have in place.
I mean, right here, so just some overview things. So early to mid-fall, town's financial staff updates, 5-year financial forecast. So right off the bat, that's like now.
Yes, exactly. Which is why, so can we have a report on 10/21 on where we are in the process, the budget process with the
I
finance
would hope
team?
so. I just put that to move to that.
And I would want in November to have a meeting with FinCom, the town's finance team, and the
Yep,
select
it
board.
says information to present to board of selectmen, finance committee, town representatives, financial
In
summit,
November.
early November.
Yeah, so I
Okay.
would want that. And so we've got to start focusing on that.
Okay.
So is that
I'm
possible?
gonna stop you. I see William Solomon on,
Yep, he is
and he
the,
has 417. I'd like to go to that and make
Okay,
sure we
let's
have
do
that done
that.
today,
Yep.
please.
Mhm.
so, Bill, are you on?
I am, thank you. My daughter had her driving test today, and I somehow I didn't when I remembered uh, to get in. I couldn't get in, so I apologize. But I'm back in my home office now. Thank you.
Okay, you're right on time.
Good. Well, thanks so much. It's nice to be here. I'll be a lot of work, obviously, since you're here at 11 now still. So let me be quick. I've worked with the town before, as you may know, it was 20 years ago, and very, very successful license. Huge fight with Comcast, big fight. And we prevailed, and then we began the access program and got excellent funding. So where we are now is I've met with Nelson and spoke with Nelson a number of times. We've met with the Comcast Government Affairs representative, Pat Sherns. No one better than Pat Sherns. And we did a capital plan. Dave's access director has worked very closely with us, and the capital plan was done by a company called Ockers. They do it at no cost. Uh, uh, Danielle, I'm just forgetting Danielle's last name, works with Danielle DeLuca, works with a guy, Gary Pink. We got the capital plan. It's excellent. If I can share the screen, I will. When I got that plan, I just had one thought on some of the timing of the funding, and just wanted to see if the timing could be tweaked, consistent with needs and reality, and it could be. So Danielle actually was going to provide that. I was surprised she hadn't, and so when I was going to call her sometime this week to ask where she was, and she somehow thought she was going to hear from Dave, which didn't need to happen. So let me put the capital plan on. That's important because what Pat Sherns basically said is he went to the people in Comcast who have to approve the funding we were asking for, and it was getting pushback. You know, the cable world is changing, and needed, as I said, the town would provide a capital plan to help make his case to Comcast, his company, for the funding, the PEG capital funding we were looking for. That's the largest issue. The rest of the license will write itself, given what I write and what I do with Comcast. And that's no better license in the Commonwealth. So let me, if I could share, let me put it on here. Sharing. Let's see.
And probably has to be given the ability to share.
Dave would get.
Yeah, it looks like it's. Let me see if it's doing it. Let's
Dave,
see.
does he have the ability to share?
Yes, I
I
did.
do. Here goes. All right.
Okay.
So let's make this a little bigger. Let's see. Is it coming up? I don't know. Is it the right thing? Let's see.
No,
Says,
it looks like it's there
let me
now.
stop again and let me see if I can get something larger. Okay, here we go. So Very detailed. Danielle, uh, excellent what she does. Worked very closely with Dave, Brenna Fenella, uh, on the capital plan. So we have different categories. We have a portable production system, year one. I'll just give you those the details. As you can see, cost $94,000 plus. An upgrade on video on demand, live streaming, 5,700. Year two upgrade on that. The town hall upgrade, microphones, other equipment, speakers, $2,448. Portable equipment upgrade year two, streaming equipment, regional high school year two, studio setup, a T-cam, very detailed, all the equipment you need, switchers, mixers, microphones. That's 32,000. Town hall
Bill, if I
grade
can stop,
meeting
Bill, if I can
room
stop you
year
there.
four,
Bill,
42,000. Portable
Bill,
gear year four, editing system year five.
Bill, can you hear
Select
me?
board chambers year five. Uh, Town hall meeting room year five.
Bill?
Replacement of the streaming equipment year six. Portable gear year seven. Editing system year seven. Total of $308,000. Now, we have a peg capital number we did provide to Comcast. That's a strong number. And again, Pat Sherns felt if he can to push it over the line, uh, he would need, as we initially said we would provide, a capital plan. So I now have this. I'm gonna send it to Pat Sherns, check with Dave, see if there's any final tweaks. Send it to Pat if it all works. Send it to Pat Sherns and see if Pat make the arguments again to Pat and see if he can get the capital number we would like to have. We were looking for a set dollar number. Comcast nowadays likes to go to a per subscriber number. I'd rather not do that, even though they would make that number bigger. I would be open to a set dollar number and a percentage of gross revenue for capital, a mixed standard where you get a certain set amount each year for 10 years and you get a percentage of their gross revenue. So hopefully
Bill, can you hear me?
Pat will be able to get that number back and see what he can do. We think it's a good number because it's a great program in Townsend, and get that back, as early as later next week. Once we agree on that number, I can write the license fairly quickly. So I would be hoping that we would get the line. I'll take a look at the data license again, but have the license signed at the very latest at the beginning of November. And let me take a look at the date. I apologize.
Bill,
Contract is ended.
Bill, can you hear me?
Yes.
So I believe the contract expires at the end of October, and, this contract does need, select board approval. The next scheduled select board meeting is
21st.
October 21st. We will certainly have an out-of-cycle meeting if it comes down to the wire to get it signed, but, if at all possible, we should shoot to have it ready to be reviewed and signed.
Yeah, I didn't have the license before me. That's the date that I'm gonna shoot for. I'll let Pat know that. I think what we should do is, regardless of where we are, we should have a hearing. It's a little different than a hearing where like everything is all done. So my recommendation would be that we advertise for a hearing, and I think I have another meeting that night, but let me take a look. One sec. I can always join by Zoom, I guess. Well, I like to do in person. The 21st.
Board hearing,
Let's take a look.
a public meeting to
Prior to
discuss.
the contract.
Yeah.
Bill, the select board has a hard stop to adjourn this meeting at 11:15, and we
Yeah,
have a couple.
I'm all done. What I would suggest is that we advertise a hearing for the 21st. We'll have that hearing, even if we're not done, we'll go over the license, let people comment, and that creates, as you said, a goal for Comcast. So my recommendation would be, together with the select board staff and Nelson, we advertise a hearing for the 21st on the renewal, and as soon as I know, I'll be in touch with Nelson moment by moment, as this proceeds from here.
Okay, we'll work on that behind the scenes. Thank you, Bill.
Good, thank you. Bye-bye. Good luck.
Right, I think we should, in the interest of time, wrap up. Everything should get tabled till the next meeting.
Yeah.
I agree.
And
Are we good with a public hearing for 7 PM on the 21st? Hopefully get all of our preliminaries out of the way and then have that.
you guys can start your meeting earlier in the day too, instead of 6. Get some stuff done.
Do it at 5.
I'm good. Yeah, 5 o'clock.
So Tuesday, correct? Yeah.
Yeah, I had 6, I will make that 5. And hearing at 7, we should be able to get a lot of people after dinner if they want to be a part of that. So get that posted as soon as possible for public input. All right. So everything else on here, 415, 416, will be moved to the 21st. We'll try to do emergency updates only on the 7th.
I will not be here on the 7th.
You're not here on the 7th, so that'll be emergency only. We'll deal with whatever we need to deal with.
And I
No.
thought it was just for the bond renewal.
I'm just letting you know if
Basically,
something
yes.
comes up that we need to
It has
address.
to be handled.
Okay, we
And
will.
Nelson, you can contact me if you want any input, so.
Okay.
Okay.
Can I say something about the Comcast thing? Just very quickly,
Yeah.
I think we need to look at the TCAM agreement and see if after Comcast is renewed, if there are any changes that need to happen in the town's agreement with TCAM.
Okay,
Actually, that's another contract that's about to expire. That
Exactly.
Right,
we need
at the
to work
same
on.
time.
It was hand in hand with the two, so.
and this gentleman was referred by Adam.
Yeah, that's
This
okay.
end
I
of it.
just, it's just that I want to look at the
And
TCAM
I
agreement
did,
as well.
I was with them at the meeting where we had the person who came in to do the capital plan.
Mhm,
So,
That's okay.
and I did think she was good. Let me just say then, the next meetings are October 7th and October 20, excuse me, at 5:30 on the 7th, and October 21st now.
Oh, it's 5:30. I had 5:15. I don't know why.
I'm reading what's on here.
Okay.
Let me just see.
5:30 and 5 PM for the 21st.
I didn't have a time. So 5:30 for the 7th and 5 PM now for the 21st. 5.5, please.
I move that we review and sign payroll and bills payable warrants out of session.
Veronica Cal second.
Okay, any discussion? Roll call vote.
Veronica Cal, aye.
Valerie Goodrich, aye.
Laura Schiff and I. 6.1. Laura Schifrin moves. I move to enter into
I move at maybe 11:30.
I move to enter into executive session
At 11.
at 11:13 and adjourn from executive session pursuant to open meeting law, chapter 30A, section 21A3, to discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining if an open meeting may have detrimental effect on the bargaining position of the public body, and the chair so declares. I, Laura Schifrin, do declare And this is in reference to clerical union, supervisors union, highway, water union, police union, fire union. Is there a second?
A second.
Roll call vote.
Veronica Cal, I.
Tyler Goodrich, aye.
And Laura Schifrin, aye. We will adjourn the public general meeting at 11:15 a.m. And is there a motion to adjourn the general meeting at 11:15?
Do it in executive session.
I thought we were adjourning an
From executive.
So it wouldn't be at 11:15, it would be
Oh, whatever
at the
it
end of
is.
executive
Okay,
session.
sorry about that. Okay, we have the second. Is there a roll call vote?
to go into executive session?
Yeah, we just did that?
Yes.
Okay.
The second.
Valerie seconded the motion to go into.
And it was a roll call vote. We stated our names and voted.